Welcome to Edison TV. I'm Neil Shah, Director of Content and Strategy at Edison. Delighted to have Jason Miles, the Chief Executive of Quadrise Fuels International, here with me today. Jason, can you introduce Quadrise and what the business does?
Sure. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for the opportunity today. What Quadrise do, we have technology that's designed for the energy space. We produce oil and water emulsion fuels, which sounds a bit complicated, but essentially think of it as a NutriBullet for fuels.
Yeah.
So we basically take material from conventional oil refineries or from terminals. We emulsify those, and we're now incorporating biofuels into that mix as well.
Okay.
The intention is really behind the technology is it produces a fuel which is cheaper, it's cleaner, it's safer, and the technology is also scalable. So it's something that you can put a system in a ship, have a system designed for that size, but you can also put a similar system in a refinery, which is just 10 times larger in scale. So the system's modular, can be deployed very quickly, within 6 to 12 months, which is quite rapid for that sort of industry. And it's low cost compared to some of the alternatives. So that's really the basis behind the technology in terms of what we're offering.
And it's a neat segue to the next question, which is, could you explain how Quadrise's technology can help to reduce emissions, especially greenhouse gases?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the technology itself was designed around the ability to reduce emissions of conventional fuels. So what it does is essentially, in a nutshell, chops the droplets up into very small sizes, 5 to 10 microns, which burn much better than they would do normally.
Yeah.
So that in itself gives you an efficiency benefit in engines of about 5 to 10%. So that's with the core product. And then because we have this ability and a system to blend water and oil together, we can take different biofuels, because some biofuels are water-based, some are oil-based. We can have the ability to then blend these together to make a biofuel as well. So with our base product in engines, we get a 5 to 10% better reduction in CO2 emissions. With our biofuel product, depending on how much biofuel we add, we get anything from 20 up to maybe 50% reduction in CO2 emissions. And we're working on, a future development on that as well, which I'm sure you can ask me about later. But yeah, that's the core business is to really provide decarbonisation solutions. And there are other emissions which are important as well in the industries which we serve. Emissions of nitrogen oxides, NOx, which gives you the smog. They're reduced by about 30%, maybe up to 50% in some cases. And also the emissions of particulates as well, which are obviously bad for human health, can cause cancer in some cases. So those emissions are dramatically reduced by our technology as well.
Okay. You've recently released a sustainability report. What's the driving force behind that?
Well, I mean, the industries we serve, it's very important that we quantify what we're doing. So this really gives us a real platform. I guess in the past we may have criticised ourselves maybe internally to hiding under a bushel in terms of our environmental credentials. Now we have a real ability to use this platform and the sustainability report to explain what we do. And to quantify what we're doing as well, because it's very important to make sure there's hard data. And then, we see a lot of talk about greenwashing in the press, and that's something that we really believe is, we have to have data to support what we're doing.
Okay. Coming back to the products, how do Quadrise's products compare with other lower carbon fuels such as LNG, FAME, or biodiesel?
Yeah, so in terms of FAME and biodiesel, they're generally used today as a blend in the industries we serve, at least. So they use FAME as a percentage of the biofuel. So we're very comparable with FAME and biodiesel, but because we're using renewable glycerin, then essentially we can reduce the cost of the blend. So we can achieve the same CO2 savings, which, like I say, could be anything from 20 to 50% reduction. We can achieve the same thing with glycerin at a lower cost. Obviously, LNG depends a little bit on terms of methane slip in the LNG production, which is obviously a bit of an unknown. There's been a lot of pushback on LNG recently just because of the unknowns of methane slip. So yeah, we're very comparable with LNG. Because that could be anything from a 10 to 25% saving, depending on whatever you believe in terms of methane slip.
Okay. So it is a technology. How proven is this technology?
Yeah, I mean, the technology platform that we're actually using is already proven for other applications. So we're using the same or basically upgraded equipment that's used for road emulsions today. So there's hundreds of these units
Okay.
already deployed. All we're doing is just using them in a disruptive way to make a fuel. The additives that we supply are proprietary to us. They're supplied exclusively through our partnership, a long-term partnership with Neurion Surface Chemistry, and that gives us really the system that can then be used to actually produce the fuels. And our experience comes from a background of supplying commercial amounts of this product. I was involved in a business that supplied 60 million tons worldwide.
Okay.
So we know how to scale this up.
Okay. Interesting. So how close is Quadrise to commercializing this technology, and what are the milestones that investors should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think the milestones in terms of what we're doing now is a commercial scale trial. So we're involved in a number of projects with fairly sizable partners. The first one is an industrial client in Morocco, where they're using the fuel for drying of products. So we're going to do a commercial scale trial in one of their facilities in the coming months. And as a result of that, then we'll enter into commercial discussions for supply.
Okay.
And then we have another client, which is MSC.
Yeah.
They're basically using the fuel. We're looking to use the MSAR fuel and the bioMSAR fuel as an alternative to the marine fuel and biofuels today. And again, we're having a commercial scale. We're doing a commercial scale trial with them in the early part of 2023. Actually running a live vessel in commercial service on MSAR, bioMSAR, and then get type approval for the bioMSAR product like we did with MSAR as well on a Wärtsilä engine. And these engines are pretty large. They're the size of a house. Each of the cylinders is nearly a metre in diameter. So these are very expensive bits of kit. So it should, I guess, hopefully provides investors with assurances that what we're doing with MSC is a very tangible trial, which should lead to then commercial supply thereafter. And then in Utah, we have a project where we're looking at deploying the technology in an upstream application to supply a marine fuel, low sulfur marine fuel and biofuel for the marine market as well as some other products and projects in the Americas. So there's quite a few trigger points the early part of next year, a result of trials leading to commercial supply. So 2020, obviously at the current period, and also 2023 is a very busy time for us at the moment.
Excellent. How are your plans to develop a fully net zero carbon fuel progressing?
Yeah, it's progressing well. So there's quite a few, because we have this NutriBullet, there's quite a few new fuels that we're testing at the moment. So we're looking at things like pyrolysis oils. We recently signed an agreement at JDA with a company called Vitoro to look at sugars from biomass. So we're on a very good track. I mean, our target is to have something, a product in place and commercially proven by 2030. And we're certainly on track to achieve that with the work we're doing with various different partners. And I think the good thing about the world today, and I think the drive towards decarbonisation, is there's a lot of collaboration going on now, both with industry partners who are willing to test things when in the past they've been very conservative, but also there's a lot of new companies coming through offering some very interesting solutions to decarbonise the industry.
Jason, that's great. Thank you very much for coming on Edison TV. If you'd like more information on Quadrise, please come to our website, www.edisongroup.com, or to, of course, the company's own website. Jason, pleasure having you on.
Thanks very much, Neil.